Hey guys, I'm just repasting my my R9 Fury. Here's the cooler. And it looks like the previous owner repasted this on their own, but what a mess. Can't touch the little gold bits there, so I'm just going to have to leave that. And I probably should replace the thermal pads on the voltage stuff, just because this is all dry and crumbly. But I don't have any new pads. I'm probably just going to have to use thermal putty. That's what I got. I'll just have to make it real thin. It's supposed to go right along here. You can see there's still some right there that's stuck. And then there's a little bit right here. I'm just going to have to use very small pieces. I've used thermal putty before, but... Well, what is this? 10-year-old thermal paste? It looks like he repasted it, but once before, so maybe it's less than that, but man, has it dried out. I think I got it cleaned off mostly. It still looks like crap here, but at least the core and memory chips look like they're fairly cleaned off. Things were getting pretty hot. If you look at the, try to get it so it's not glared on there. Look at the discoloration on the copper plate. That is clean. I've been polishing and polishing it and nothing looks better. I'm about to use my thermal putty here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a real thin log and just put it right on here. Really thin, really small. Because it's going to squash when I put it down there. The tolerances on this are pretty tight. And then I gotta measure a square here and a thermal paste and finish this up. Now guys, here it is, all done. I should have taken another video when I had the paste applied and the stuff before I put it back together, but I forgot. So here it is installed. It is in my new FX build. Always wanted to have an FX processor, and this is an FX-8320e. I got a deal on eBay. The CPU, the RAM, and the motherboard for 30 bucks. So I dug out my old Fury. I spent, well, I was originally going to dual boot Windows and Linux on this system and do comparisons, but Windows wouldn't install properly, so we're just running Linux on it right now. So SSDs. An SSD was $25. It's just a 512. I got the graphics card for $50. That was 2 years ago. The most expensive part in here is the power supply. That was it's a Apevia Prestige 800 watt gold rated, and you can see it's almost 800 watts on 12. I've bought a bunch of these, and they've been pretty good units for me. The cooler, I had to buy a cooler too. That was it was like 15 bucks. It's a Xigmatek GAIA cooler. It was basically a competitor to the Hyper 212 Evo back in the day. It arrived with the fan mounted on the wrong side. It is pulling air that way, so it's pulling air in the right direction, so I'm not going to bother moving it around. It doesn't use traditional clips. It uses these weird rubber thingies to attach the fan. I think if I break them, I'm going to not be able to attach the fan. So I'm just like, well, it's on there. It's pulling air in the right direction, so I'm just going to leave it. I was going to put an 8GB RX 480 in here, because I feel like that'd be a pretty good match for the FX processor as well. But I mean, this is a pretty cheap system. Linux is on there, and the RAM is actually 32 gigabytes of RAM, believe it or not. It's only 1600 megahertz. It CAS 11, I think, but with the overclock I've got on it, it's running about 1700, I think. But yeah, it's the system. I have booted the system with another graphics card, but I have not booted it with the Fury since the repaste, so I'm going to do that right now. All right, everybody, let's see how we do here. The computer came on. Let's see, hopefully we get to picture. We do! let's head into... Oh, gotta hook up my mouse. Let's see what we got. Let's go to advanced mode. So here's the overclock I got on. I did mostly bus overclocking, bleh. Which is why the CPU ratio, I should have a frequency of 3300, but actually I have, well, it's 4221, I think, it shows in the overlay. And I could clock these higher. Everything could be basically clocked higher, but I'm limited by my cooling because it's actually a pretty cheap cooler. There is one thing, though, with Linux. If you're overclocking with an FX chip, like the first thing to do is always to disable cool and quiet. But if I disable cool and quiet, then Mango HUD will not show CPU frequencies. It'll just show 0 megahertz. I guess the Linux scheduler is different. Discard changes. But I do want to load up a game, see how hot the Fury gets. I got Cyberpunk loaded on here. I could try that. FX-8320, well, 8320e. It's a little pushed by Cyberpunk. The best thing to do is to lock it at 30 frames per second. I think that's how I left it. But let's start Steam. I don't want to start Overlay to edit Mango HUD. Then I'd see the overlay. But because that'll change my setup. I got the overlay configured exactly the way I want it, and it's using. Actually, I can change the text though. There it is. This is better than using overlay. I can put in here exactly what I want. So I want to change GPU text R9 Fury. Yeah, let's load up Cyberpunk. Let's see what it's got. Audio might be out of sync because usually whenever I start the computer with OBS already recording, the audio isn't synced. Because OBS is not really so good. Now I hear there's new stuff coming with Steam. That Steam is going to have their own... They already have the Steam overlay, of course, but they're going to be adding performance statistics to it. I hope I can make them bigger, because that was always the knock on having the Steam overlay in the upper corner. The frames per second readout from Steam is that it was always too small, and you could alter the Steam configuration files to make it a little bit bigger, but it was never ideal, at least not for recording. Let's see what we got. Oh wow, 32 degrees. This is a Nitro. This Fury, it's a Sapphire Nitro, which in my opinion was the greatest of the Furies. I'm sure it'll heat up. It's probably barely under any load right now because we're locked at 30 frames per second. I'm going to take the lock off and we'll see what we can do. Are we not getting any desktop audio? Hang on. Be right back. And we're back. We definitely got audio now, that's for sure. Way too loud too. That will be fixable. So here we are. We got low settings. Yeah, the audio output on Linux, on this Linux anyway, this is Linux Mint X FCE. The audio output always changes whenever I unplug HDMI because I'm routing audio through HDMI into the capture card. If I swap the capture card or unplug HDMI for any reason, it then defaults to the digital audio out, which produces no sound. So we're at 40 degrees. This is kind of crazy. So it's the low preset with upscaling disabled. And let's turn off the caps. Now we should get some temperature. I better get some temperature. I mean, this is phase change material. This is PTM 7950. It's supposed to, it doesn't really phase change until you get over like 55 or something. So I really need to get some I need to get some heat build up in this graphics card. I'm not sure if this is going to do it. Let's see what we got. Oh, it loads it up. It loads it up all right. I was worried the FX chip would not load it. It does load it up. Looks a little choppy though. It's a VRAM. VRAM's only 2.4. So we are not exceeding that. RAM's at 7.5. Yeah, I don't think the benchmark gives the best idea of how this runs. 60, we're just about it. There's 60. It's climbing. It's got to settle in a bit. Before it was hitting 76 under extended full load, and it was not looking good at all. See, now if the CPU is all basically maxed, I don't think FSR is going to actually do anything, because the CPU couldn't process the additional frames even if it could. Let's head back to the main menu. Let's get into the game. I'll drive around a little bit. It's the same story basically with the RX 480. That's why locking it to 30 frames per second was the better idea. There's no point in using FSR, not with an FX chip. If I had my i7 4790, if that was the system this was in, yeah, we'd be able to use FSR, probably get a good 60 FPS, because we're at low settings. But as you'll see, we are going to be pretty much maxed on the CPU, or we should anyway. The Fury is actually marginally faster than the RX 480. What do we got? 46, 40. Yeah, the CPU is maxed. CPU is just about maxed. We don't really have much overhead. No, well, I don't know. We're showing the Fury is staying pretty much maxed, and it's staying right around 60 degrees. That's a reduction of 16 degrees centigrade, so I'm happy with that. Oh shit. I don't know. Did I take damage? I did. It is basically maxing the Fury, even though the CPU itself is also pretty loaded. But now if I turn on FSR to try to hit 60 FPS, let's do FSR 2.1 and we'll go quality. I don't think I'm going to be able to get 60 because now you see it improved a little bit. No, it didn't really improve at all because the CPU is maxed. So if you have a Fury and you want to use it in Linux and you want to play Cyberpunk, make sure you hook it up to an Intel CPU because FSR, you know, you need CPU room, for lack of a better term, to use FSR. So I might as well just do this. But yeah, a big welcome to my AMD FX system, and I repasted my R9 Fury, and we're running Linux, so probably some more Linux videos coming your way. Thanks for watching.